service and sign up, or else I could go to jail or pay a $10,000 fine, and I didn't want to go to jail and I didn't have $10,000. So I made my way to the Selective Service and volunteered my draft.
What your country can do for you and what you can do for your country.
Those words resonate for me for years. So that idea of doing something for your country didn't make going for the draft, going to the military, it didn't make that a bad thing.
And we were shot at, and they dropped what they called during World War II a Jacob's ladder, which is a rope ladder. And you hooked onto that, and then they just lifted you straight up and take off. So while we were getting out, we came under fire, and I will always remember the sergeant. He had a book, and it was a paperback pulp. To get everybody to calm down, he had the book open. He was acting like he was reading as we were going through the triple canopy at 150 knots, hanging off the back of this helicopter. Well, it turned out later he wasn't reading at all. He had the book upside down, but nobody knew. He set the tone that you could relax now.
Widow, and try to explain to her what had happened, and that was a pretty difficult conversation.
There was a party for me back at my parents' house, and I didn't go there first. I went to the graveyard. I stayed on Andrew's grave for a while. I was able to come home, and he wasn't. And so, what do you do with that?
I remember we waited outside of this hangar where our family was inside the hangar.
They were in formation and they came walking around this building. They haven't seen their family members and they are marching in perfect lines and they're at attention until they're dismissed. And then it's just a madhouse. It's joy like you can't even imagine.
It's like you watch movies and like the lovers are in this big crowd and they just...
1945, a peace treaty was signed on the USS Missouri. Everybody was so glad the war is over. First chance I had, I got to see my family.
My family had no phones. They didn't know I was coming. Because see, I got about 8 telegrams showing where I was missing in action. And I have about 10 of them showing where I was wounded in action. I walked up to the house and said, "Hi, Mom." And she just went bananas. She hugged and laughed. I could hear her yet.
And all the movies I saw.
Executive Mansion, Washington, December 23rd, 1862. Dear Fanny, it is with deep grief that I learn of the death of your kind and brave father, and especially that it is affecting your young heart beyond what is common in such cases. In this sad world of ours, sorrow comes to all, and to the young, it comes with bitterest agony, because it takes them unawares. The older have learned to ever expect it. I am anxious to afford some alleviation of your present distress. Perfect relief is not possible except with time. You cannot now realize that you will ever feel better. Is not this so? And yet, it is a mistake. You are sure to be happy again. To know this, which is certainly true, will make you some less miserable now. I've had experience enough to know what I say, and you need only to believe it to feel better at once. The memory of your dear father, instead of an agony, will yet be a sad, sweet feeling in your heart, of a purer and holier sort than you have known before. Please present my kind regards to your afflicted mother. Your sincere friend, Abraham Lincoln.
the war in Vietnam was coming closer and closer to our lives, as it was to so many Americans. And then, no surprise, all of us that were in training got orders to go to Vietnam.
When we were in Tucson and he was training, our daughter was born in May, so she was about 3 months when he left. I'll have to tell you that I knew when he was going to be deployed, and I just kept trying not to think about it, but when it came to the actual day before, it really hit me hard. I just fell apart, and while he was packing, I was just on the bed crying.
Go, but I don't think anybody did.
Oh, it was terrible. I was just a new bride, and I knew he was leaving me for a long period of time.
I was fearful of oversleeping or getting in a car accident and missing that overseas shipment. So we slept in each other's arms in the dark. I slept with my uniform on.
I never saw Wally get on the ship. I just remember watching it leave and knowing he was on it, and he was going to go, I didn't know where, and he didn't either at that time.
I can only imagine what my mom was feeling. You know, the fact that she had one son in Kosovo and another son about to go to Iraq. In the Marine Corps, it's called like the key wives or the key moms. It's kind of like a family support group. So she got a call saying, hey, do you want to come to the meeting we're having? And we're, definitely going to talk about the upcoming deployment to Iraq. And so that's how she found out I was going to Iraq. So that wasn't fun. I remember getting a phone call, like, what the heck is going on? And why didn't I tell her? But, didn't know how to break the news, especially, on one son. It's kind of